Let everybody get settled. Good evening.
Good evening.
As chairman of the Nash County Board of Commissioners, I now call our May 12, 2026 meeting to order.
This time I would like to call the Nash County Board of Education to order.
At this time, we'll have Commissioner Sue Leggett lead us in our invocation. Let us stand.
Good evening. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to gather together as we serve the people of Nash County. We ask for your guidance and wisdom over the members of these boards as we work together to make decisions that impact our families, students, teachers, and community. Lord, grant us clarity in discussion, unity in purpose, and a spirit of cooperation and respect. Help us to lead with integrity, compassion, and a shared commitment to the future of our children and our county. Dear Lord, we ask you to bless this meeting and the work that will be done here tonight, and bless all those who serve and educate our community each day. And Lord, we ask for the touch of your healing hand for all of those who are hurting or in need of healing or just in the need of your reassurance. These things we ask in your precious and holy name. Amen.
Amen. We will now have our Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Wayne Outlaw.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right. Well, we have a meal this evening, but it's going to be a little late. So we are going to proceed and call on Dr. Honeycutt from Nash Community College to do their budget presentation. How you doing this evening?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Well, great.
So I'm going to start off this way I start off everything now and say great evening. Notice I didn't say good evening. Good's just not good enough for events like this and certainly for Nash Community College. So great evening to everyone. We're happy to be with you all again this year to talk about our budget and our budget ask for 26-27. The smarter half of my team will get up here in a minute and talk about the budget. It's Carol Dornsief, our CFO. And we also have some of my bosses, Board of Trustees members with us tonight. We have Chair of the Board of Trustees, Russell Proctor, Vice Chair of the Board of Trustees, Angela Gilliard, and Trustee Paul Jaber. Thank you for taking your time to be with us today. So my part of this will be to bring you up to date on what's gone on in the last year at the college. And then again, Carol will get up here and talk about the budget that we're asking for. So first off, first things first, as always, thank you for what you do. We live in we have the luxury of living in a job that we get to change lives every day. But we could not do that without the partnership of Nash County. So thank you so much for that. Second thing, and you've got one of these in front of you in a little packet we put out for you, but on Tuesday, May 26th, the day after Memorial Day, we're doing official ribbon cutting and kind of a tour of our emergency medical services mobile unit, which we got with some grant dollars. It's an incredible ambulance simulator and classroom that we're going to be doing that. Starts at 2 o'clock, and you're just more than welcome to come and join us for that little event. Then this is the way I start every presentation I do, because this picture sits on my desk. When I'm having a bad day, all I got to do is look at it. This is our 5-year-old graduation ceremony from our child care center. So we have about 54 students or kids from birth through 5 years old. We do a full-blown graduation ceremony. I'm in regalia, they're in regalia. I'm standing on the ground, they're standing on the stage, I'm looking right at them. The room will be full of grandparents, parents, aunts, uncles, you name it. It's a serious undertaking. Well, every year when I would turn around, I would hear them talking. But we didn't have pictures until this year, which was 3 years ago. The little boy to my left, I knew he was one of our employees' sons, and he kept whispering in my ear, and I kept saying, you need to stop, they're taking pictures. When Angie, my assistant, showed me the picture, I said, please frame that, put it on my desk. When I'm having a bad day, that's why I do what I do. So Just to get, you've got this sheet in front of you too, the commissioners do, but I just wanted to point out, this is what we call the elevator sheet, but I wanted to point out some specifics on it just so you'll know, bring you up to date. So Nash Community College was established in 1967. We're one of the 58 community colleges, and we're about number 30th in size now. We've grown. And so that's right in the middle. We kind of like that place to be. We have a 125-acre campus thanks to the county. Team Nash is made up of around 200 full-time employees and about that many part-time employees, so around 400. That makes us the 11th largest employer in the county. Now, most of the time, a community college will be like number 4 or 5. There might be a hospital, there might be a school system, there might be a city, and then the community college. I'm proud we're the 11th largest. That means there are 10 other industries that can hire our graduates, and it's happening all the time. Last full year, we served 54 counties of the 100 in this state and 3 states. So we have a very broad reach that we do. Our continuing education department reached 96 of the 100 counties. Con Ed has to come to our campus. It's not online. So people travel from all over the state to our campus to train. So we're very proud of that. Annually, we have about an $86 million impact on the county. We know this has grown. In fact, we're undergoing a new study to get some updated numbers, but $86 million is nothing to shy away from. That's about $22 million direct and then about $64 million for things like, they call it an alumni effect. It's the ripple in the pond. We have had graduates since 1968. And so there's that kind of effect. The ones the data I'm most proud of up here, though, is return on investment for the county funding we get is 30 to 1. As much as I love everyone sitting in this room, if my retirement account did 30 to 1, I would be out fishing or something. I would probably not be with y'all right now. But it's a good return. But even at the state level, when we talk in Raleigh, it's a 3 to 1 return on investment for state dollars. So we're very proud to say it does not cost a dime to have Nash Community College in Nash County. And we're very proud of that. The one I'm probably the most proud of, though, 1 in 38 jobs in this county has been touched by the college. And we see that every day. I wear Nash stuff everywhere I go. People will talk to me and they'll say, oh, my grandmother went there, my granddad went there, my aunt went, Mom. It's just on and on and on, and I love hearing that. So we have a very big impact in the county. Several decades ago, or certainly years ago, the General Assembly did something really great. They made community colleges very affordable in this state. So if you look up there, a full 2-year degree. So first 2 years of a 4-year degree, that's what you need, and not all of our students need that, but if that's what you need, you're going to pay less than $6,000 to get that at any of the community colleges in the state. It's really closer to 5, but I couldn't in good conscience put 5 up there. 6 just sounds better. Keep in mind, your first semester at state or UNC is going to be $14,000 to $20,000. First semester. This is the first 2 years. But we have classes all the way down to a 36-hour class that's free that teaches you how to get a job. So it's very affordable to go to the college. Now, last full year, 24-25, we're still in 25-26. We got a couple more weeks to go. But last full year, we served 22,434 students in the 5 areas that we concentrate on. That was a record for the college. Well, I'm proud to tell you, as of today, we've already surpassed last year's record. 22,750 students as of today. We still have 2 weeks to go. So it'll be a new record for the college, and then we'll have to surpass it next year. It gets harder, I guess, every year. But of that 22,434, continuing education is our largest component. That is someone trying to get skilled or re-skilled. They're coming from Cummins or somewhere to train and go back and get a better job or a raise. That's the bulk of what we do, 63%. Career and technical ed, that's things like nursing, electric line construction, welding, typically the skills programs that we have. That's another 14%. The thing that everybody thinks is all we do, university transfer, is a very small percentage of what we do, another 14.5%. Basic skills, which is high school equivalency, North Star digital literacy, English as a second language classes, makes up about 6% of what we do. And then we have an enrollment called special enrollment. We used to call it visiting students. If you're at UNC Wilmington, but you come back here to take English, you're not going to enroll in the college, so we put you in a different category. But the reason I show you these numbers is we are still Nash Technical Institute. That's what we were called when we started. I wish we still had technical in the name, because we are still about 78% of what we do is to train the region's workforce. So we're very, very proud of that. Something else we do, I know it's kind of hard to see this, but I'll point out what I want you to look at. We belong to a group called Skills USA. We do not have sports teams, but we have Skills USA teams. This is a worldwide group, competitive group, certainly United States wide, and it trains you in workplace, technical, and personal skills while you're in the classroom. But also there's a competitive side to it at state and national. So we have competed since 2013. And as you can see, this year, 2026, we won our largest number of medals at 31. 8 of those were gold medals, which means they go on to nationals in Atlanta in June to compete to be number 1 in the nation. And I kind of think we're going to bring some number 1s home this year. Among other things that we were awarded this year is the highest award that the Skills USA has. In technical skills, there's 5,000 schools that compete around the nation in Skills USA. We were named one of 8 in the nation, a model of excellence in technical skills. We as a college take Skills USA very seriously. We have embraced it as a college-wide thing, and it is our team, so we're very proud of that. So we will continue to keep that up and going. This slide I developed, I had a CEO coming from Raleigh one day, and he called me and said, "Hey, I've got 15 minutes so I can stop at your campus. What can you show me?" And I said, "Well, my office. It's really cool." And so when he left, I thought I need to put together a slide that shows what we do. This is everything we do out at the college, and it's a pretty diverse grouping of things. So there's a lot going on at Nash County's Comprehensive Community College. Where we do what we do has been broadened out over the last 6 years into a lot of different sites. You notice there's a vacant site up here, but you know what? There's not very many people up there. We do work with Castelia and say, you find enough people that want to come to campus, we'll partner with a church, pay for the gas, and get them there. We just can't go everywhere where there's not enough people. Most of the exterior sites, other than the main campus, are teaching digital literacy, how to run a computer, adult basic literacy or adult basic education, high school equivalency, and classes like that. Those are the gateways into everything else we have. So we really have spread out quite a bit. Most recently, Whitaker's Town Hall is our most recent addition there. The campus has changed over the last couple of years. So about 1.5 years ago, we opened the Scott Braswell Veterinary Medical Technology Annex, which allows us to do about 1/3 more vet tech students every year. Vet tech's the person you hand your pet to when you go into the vet office, so it's a high turnover position, so there's always a need. Only us and Cape Fear have the program in the east side of the state, so we have a full class every time. So we were able to open that. Also, thanks to the county, thanks to Nash County, we were able to open our driver training center. So the county purchased the 23 acres contiguous to campus, which is you never find land contiguous. You built the Pet Connection Adoption Center on 5 acres of it. You reserved out 4 acres for something else later on, but you deeded to us 14 acres, which allowed us to complete construction on a driver training center. Before that, all the programs you see there were training all over this county and into Edgecombe County with an agreement with Edgecombe Community College. So we were having classroom sessions and they would drive 10, 12, 14 miles to where they were driving. Now it's all done on campus, so we're very proud of that. Both of these projects, the Vet Tech project and the CDO or the Driver Training Center, were done debt-free. Very proud to say that. Not all colleges can say they're debt-free, but we can. And just to kind of add, something else we did 2 years ago this fall, the early college, which is all university transfer, belongs to Nash County Public Schools, but Steve and I just agree to disagree that it's really mine because it's on my campus. But any of these innovative high schools can have 500 students. So the early college has been on campus since its inception. City High is the skills campus, and it was placed in the old high school because there wasn't room on the campus at the time, Rocky Mount High School. We, in fall of 2024, due to the demerger of the school systems, Steve was in a room crunch. We really didn't have the room, but we moved City High on campus, and we're so proud we did. Now we've got both innovative high schools on campus, and we're very proud of that. That green building is a modular, which I don't like at all, but it helps me put the point across when we need a new building, and when you have a modular, it helps put that point across a little better. When we were down at the old facility, we could only bring to that facility these programs. For fall of 25, we added early childhood development, criminal justice, and welding. Our goal is to continue to add skills programs where in the morning they're taking English 1, English 2, the high school classes, In the afternoon, 2 may want to be culinary, 2 may want to be robotics. Okay, that's great. Just go do that. Our Skills High School is arguably as important as the early college for this county because students can graduate from the City High with up to 22 certifications, and they are ready to be employed. So it's an incredibly important part of the college, as is the early college. So something else, just as these are popping up, something to point out to you, we have done a great deal of capital improvements over the last 6 years. I'm in my 7th year here, which is hard to believe. But we've done that, about $8 million worth of projects, and again, we've added no debt to the college. And very few of the 58 colleges can say that, so I'm always proud of that. I inherited a debt-free campus. I hope when I retire, it's still debt-free. That's going to be the goal. But certainly, as of right now, we've done a lot of improvement and not had to borrow any against any of that. So now, and notice your name's already up there, the Nash County Board of Commissioners Health Science Building. I mean, it's just an option. For $3.5 million, but I'm going to make you a deal tonight for only $3 million. We'll call it good. But in all seriousness, our next big project is our new health sciences building. It's about a $22 million undertaking. It does so many things for the school system and for us. It allows us to place our medical fields, nursing, med-assist, physical therapy, CNA, into state-of-the-art facilities. We have great quality in our programs. I'll put it up against any in the state. We don't have the best modern-looking facilities. And unfortunately, students today are not looking for quality. They're looking for, does it look like a hospital ward? Does it look like a doctor's office? So we're going to eventually get into a little issue with not being able to fill our quota of nursing, med-assist, physical therapy, if we don't have a better bells and whistles facility. The advantage to the school system, when we finally move nursing into this building, City High then gets put in the old nursing wing, which looks like a high school. Long cinder block hallway with cinder block rooms going off to the side. So it gives us a permanent home for City High. So again, we're looking at federal, state, we're looking at all kinds of sources. We're going to do a capital campaign. It's going to take a village to build it, but we'll get it built. With that said, I will turn it over to the smarter of the two of us, Carol, to talk about the budget request for this next year. So Carol. And then we'll answer any questions you have.
All right, thank you. Okay, first I wanted to cover some of our completed projects. This past year, we've just recently completed our Myrtle Carter Henry Amphitheater Phase 1. The funding source for that was state capital and infrastructure funds. Also, we got a new chiller for the Science and Technology Building that was funded through the county as year 1 of the strategic maintenance plan. We had to replace a boiler in the continuing education building this year. That was also by county funds, but we used our regular building maintenance capital funds for that. That wasn't a part of the plan, but you sometimes never know what's going to break down and when, so that was another big item. The items we have in process that will be done by year end are part of the strategic maintenance plan. We're doing an elevator upgrade in Building D. We signed the contract on that back in November, but there's a build time on it. So the materials for that are supposed to be delivered next week, and the upgrade will actually occur starting January 1st through that 3rd week of January for that to be complete. And then we're having 3 parking lots repaved, and that will also be done last week of May, early June, so that they can be complete before year end. Also, we have the driver training pavilion in process. That was funded by the OSBM SCIF funds, which was a special allocation we got from Office of State Budget Management for $1 million. Actually, today they poured the concrete there, but this was a few days ago before they got the concrete poured. and we will have, building is to be delivered early June, exterior assembled by the end of June, and then they'll move on to the interior and the other work that entails. Our brick window replacement project, that is also funded by SCIF funds. We're really just getting started on that. We had our first construction meeting on that last week, and they've got to schedule the next week or so to come out and do the final measurements on the windows and start that project. So that'll be starting soon. This is just a recap of the current year capital upgrade, which was year one of our strategic maintenance plan. We have the amount that the county funded. We did find that, the actual cost ended up being quite a bit more as we expected, but we have, covered it with our county funds. But you can see there how that played out. That first parking lot, P3, ended up being a lot of, it was in pretty bad shape, so we had to end up, or we're going to have to in the next few weeks when that gets started. They're having to cut it down and then put 3 inches of asphalt. Parking lot P4 only required 2 inches, and then P7 we could get by with a 1.5 inch overlay. Chiller replacement actually came in under budget, so that was good. We had a lot of interest in that project and quite a few people bid on it, so that was to our benefit. And then the elevator upgrade ended up being over. But this slide shows, how we paid for or are going to pay for in the next few weeks as we finish up year one of our strategic maintenance plan. So, we used the money that was allocated for that and also some of our other regular capital outlay that we got for those projects. And then we had that big boiler for $165,000, which hit us this year. And then, other capital needs, we only spent the $24,000, so those will be fully spent at year end. So now we'll get to our current year, fiscal year 27 budget request. So you can see there what we have, and the grand total asking for $4,090,250, which is a 5.95% increase over last year. For plant operations, asking for $2,200,857, a 4.09% increase. And for that, we're asking for a 3% salary increase for our full-time staff. We have 7 custodial and 2 groundskeepers in that category. And then there's some fringe benefit changes. Well, actually, the retirement rate for now, we're maintaining at 24.67 because the state has not released the new rate for that yet. Medical premium is expected to increase to $8,904, and we had a few additional staff eligible for longevity this year. And for part-time staff, we're recommending a $2 per hour increase to get them up to $15 per hour. And that's for 11 custodial and 2 grounds. One of the grounds is seasonal. I will say, if you're looking at the legal size sheet of paper, which has the numbers on there, it's not going to show a 3% increase on that because that is calculated based on looking at last year or current year's budget to what we're asking for fiscal year 27, whereas my 3% increase is based on who we really have in place right now, exactly what it would cost. So sometimes those numbers don't exactly work out, but I just wanted to point that out. Also, there was a 1% increase requested for contracted services, which the services going up are waste removal, laundry service, and pest control. And then a 8% net increase expected in utilities, being electricity, gas, and water. Once again, it's an 8% net increase over current year's budget. But my calculation was taking what I project for the end of year and adding for City of Rocky Mount a 15% increase and for Duke Energy a 9% increase. But it's actually, it looks like less because we didn't have quite as much increase last year as we anticipated. And then custodial supplies decreased. For plant maintenance, we're requesting $792,840, a 3.56% increase. This is a 3% salary increase for full-time staff, including a director of facilities and 5 maintenance technicians. And the medical premium increasing on them. Also, we had a 3% increase in facility repairs and supplies, just based on cost increase, and 6% increase in contracted services for our elevator and fire contracts. For administration, this one looks like a lot, 30.23% increase, requesting $53,578. This line item is the president's county paid salary supplement. The way our presidents get funded, the state gives a certain amount based on what tier we're in, and we are tier 2, which is a mid-sized school, and then counties give a supplement on top of what the state gets. And our Board of Trustees has recommended a $10,000 salary increase in the presidential county paid supplement. That would try to help get him a little more in line with what the other counties are doing. We do have, every year we get from the state a record of the salaries that are paid out and how they compare. And currently, our president is ranked at 49th out of the 58 community colleges. And we just, I don't feel like he's a number 49 community college president. Well, and even, the Skills USA slide earlier, here we are, one of 8 schools in the nation for technical skills and our abilities, and, his compensation is quite a bit lower than most of the other community college presidents. So just to try to show some appreciation there, and that's what our board discussed and wanted to recommend. And then that will increase the fringe benefits accordingly on that. Also, we now have general institution where we are requesting $297,375, 28.3% increase. The property liability umbrella insurance is fairly flat, 10+ percentage increase in the automobile insurance. That's coming from what our insurance agent has told us to expect. And also, we have recently purchased a recruitment vehicle for the college out of college funds, so that'll get added to the coverage. We would also like to ask the county to support a new position, an executive director of facilities safety and risk. This is a position that a lot of the other schools have, and it's going to strengthen our facilities and safety oversight, help with the strategic maintenance plan, be our capital projects coordinator, or help with construction supervision. a more boots on the ground kind of person that can help, as we have all these many projects going on that have to be coordinated, that can help coordinate those. You know, like for instance, we have the brick window project that is coming up soon. Well, we're gonna have to move people around based on what rooms are available, what rooms they're working in. There's gonna be like a lot of coordination with that. So this position would help with that. They're, you know, helping to make sure we have a safer and more secure campus, evaluating like our camera coverage, making sure we're doing fire drills and tornado drills and things like that as appropriate. And what we're requesting of the county is if they could pay 50% of this position through county funds, and then state funds would pick up the other 50%. Now moving on to the capital section. For the standard capital request, we maintained the building and facility maintenance at $275,000 and our regular equipment request at $15,000 for $290 total. And for our capital upgrade request, and this is on year 2 of the strategic maintenance plan. These numbers haven't changed from what was submitted 2-3 years ago when it was first submitted. But what we have proposed for this year are window replacements on building ABD1, and then a roof replacement on the Science and Technology building, and to pave the front half of Campus View Drive. This shows what we're really requesting, which is the $455,600. We have rerun some numbers, tried to do some research based on the ever-changing prices. You know, from obviously prices have changed in the past 2 years, and we have what we project they may cost right now. Who knows, by the time we do them, they may go up some more, but right now this is our best estimate of the cost, which is a $253,830 increase, but we're proposing to use fund balance for that increase to cover that for this year. So we're not asking for additional county money for that. And just to lay that out for you, our current fund balance, and this was at last year end, was $671,588. Potentially, we may add about $91,000 to fund balance this year. This is my best estimate at the time, but you know, you never know, these are estimates. And then if we take out that overage for the capital upgrade, that slide I just showed you previously for $253,000, then at the end of 27, then we're proposing maybe we're going to have about $508,000, around $500,000 in fund balance. And we think that that's, you know, a good number to have for our fund balance. Prior to next year's budget, we are going to reevaluate the 7-year strategic maintenance plan, re-examine our priorities, update cost estimates, and just, you know, see if anything needs to be changed on it. And that would be one of the duties of that half position we were asking for earlier. This is a slide you've seen before, just to recap for you. Operating increase 6.08%, the building maintenance and equipment remains flat, capital upgrades 9.12% increase. So giving us a grand total of $4,090,250, 5.95% increase over the prior year. Do we have any questions? Okay, well, thank you for your time and consideration. Oh, yes, sorry. Yes, sir.
in the next decade, how much increase in enrollment are you projecting?
I'll let you answer.
What I can tell you is, I'll give you 3 years back and then we'll look forward. So 3 years back, we grew at 2.2%. Last year, we grew at 4.4%. This year, we're over 6% right now, and we're probably going to have about 6.5%. I don't know that we don't have the facilities to continue that kind of growth, but I think we'll end up, prior to the COVID incident that happened, this college was ticking up about 1 or 2% a year. Then it might lose 1% and go up, but it was a slow tick up, very small. That's what we're looking to hit. So, in the next 10 years, maybe 10%, if we look forward.
Are there any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have any other questions about the commission for the community college staff? Okay, seeing none. Madam Manager, is our food here? It's ready. Okay, we thank you for your presentation, Dr. Honeycutt. And at this time, we're going to adjourn the community college budget session, and we will take a lunch pause break, okay? And then we will come back and resume with the school system presentation. Okay, we'll start our meeting back with our call on Superintendent Dr. Stephen Ellis and make his presentation for Nash County Public Schools budget presentation. Good evening, sir.
So good evening, Chairman and Commissioners. On behalf of the Board of Education and myself, staff, and students and families of our school district, thank you for the opportunity to present our proposed school budget for the upcoming year. We appreciate your continued partnership and support of public education in our county. Your investment in our schools directly impacts the success of our students, the strength of our workforce, and the future of our community. Thank you again for your time and your partnership and your continued commitment to the students and families of this county. At this time, I will go over this agenda for tonight. What we're going to discuss first is we're going to go Nash at a glance, just some statistics. A lot of people ask how many schools we have now based from the demerger, and I've got some information in your packet that we'll discuss briefly. We're going to have a recap of 25-26 school year. We're going to share a proposed budget. We'll discuss some shortfalls, and of course, some requests. And if you have any questions, just please ask. I believe that when our group is up here, if you have any questions of each group, just ask them then instead of waiting to the end. That'll be fine. Just what I've put up here is Nash at a glance. You know, this is, I think it's the second or third year since the demerger. Just so you'll know some statistics, we have 13,000 students enrolled. We now have 24 schools, 1,700 employees, 109 daily bus routes. We graduated 1,058 students last year. We are a one-to-one laptop district. And then what you'll see is there are some programs that we have, the elementary, middle, and high, that we've put over here. And we've got some facts 567, I believe that is classroom teachers, teacher assistants, 169, 1,700 employees. And at this time, we're going to recap the 25-26 school year, starting with facility upgrades, Ms. Miller. Then we're going to have some academic highlights, Ms. Melissa Dancy Smith. Security upgrades, Dr. Leon Desferro. And Ms. Miller, you are first.
Good evening. I'm very excited to share some information with you tonight, and I know in your packets you've got several of these. So I'm going to start not reading this out to you, but I've been very blessed to work with a great team of people. Dennis Fields is here with me tonight, and he helps lead our maintenance and operations team. On this slide, it shows you several things that we've been doing as a district throughout this school year, and I'm going to go into these and highlight them with some pictures as we proceed. Two things I want to bring attention to. The very bottom, Red Oak Middle, Nash Central Middle, and Northern Nash, you will see upgrading in the parking lots with lights. We're doing LED lighting for safety precautions, and we have already started that process with Duke Energy. Also, something that you will not see here because we started this into the year, but it's some safety walls at the elementary schools. After Red Oak Elementary opened the new school, and we realized some things that we could do to enable a partition from visitors before you get into the main office. So that was complete at Bienvenue this year, and next year there'll be 2 schools that we'll be adding that to as well. So I'm going to begin by showing you some information at Northern Nash Fieldhouse. It's been 100% built out. The 1-year warranty will expire on 7/22/26. When you guys came to see a walkthrough at our ribbon cutting, I'm going to show you a picture in just a moment in reference to some of the new things that happened after we walked through the facility. And in the bottom is a drone picture of where Southern Nash Middle School's construction is happening. Northern Nash Fieldhouse, when we walked through, many of us made comments about the fieldhouse and the floor. We waited to paint that floor after we had our walkthrough because we wanted the students to be the first ones to see it. So that was done in-house with our maintenance department, the lockers and their equipment in place. And I actually went in there last week, and it looks still like brand new, and it smells nice. So that's a blessing. The bottom right is the practice field. At the time of construction, we were not able to finish that because of the way we had to do the build and where we had to store everything. That has been irrigated and has been completed this time. Groundbreaking was held on 3/5/26 for the new Southern Nash Middle School. Here you'll see a stormwater, the basin off of NC 581 and that entrance. Here you will see the gravel drop-off entrance. If you've been by there recently, you'll see that there's a lot happening. We've got the trailers are in place. They're working to begin the new building pad. There's pictures of this here as well. And you have the true entrance and exit. It is still dirt, but you can see a lot has taken place since we began. And that beginning was on February the 16th. Here's our proposed budget and where we stand right now. I do want to bring your attention to the fact that the first invoice that we expect to get will be a significant and substantial one. This is where we are on target because right now we have not been billed for some of the construction. But again, we began on February 16th and are on target at this time. Elementary locks. We've talked about this for some time. Our department did complete all of the elementary locks at every one of the elementary schools, and they are safety locks. The Safe Bolt and the QID locks that have been installed. This picture is actually from Nashville Elementary. So all elementary schools are complete at this time. Rocky Mount High had their tennis court was not playable this year. We were able to get that in the budget and complete and refurbish the entire facility. It had not been refurbished since the school was built. Northern Nash Daycare and Allied Health got new roofs. There's a new metal roof in both of those areas. carpet replacement on the left for Nashville Elementary School and in the lounge at Hubbard Elementary. Those were done in-house as well. We did a little homework. Central office had not been, the exterior and some of the interior had not been touched in 40-plus years. So we were able to get some donations and do some upgrades. In the far left, you'll see that is the boardroom. Many of you have already seen. The back of the central office is a space for our employees to be able to use. And that was, several of those things were donated as well. On the far right, I hope you can see this picture. You'll see that this is the bus garage. So we were able to do some painting. We were put new lights in, LED lights. It was done in-house, and that will save us $2,900 in one fiscal year with just changing those lights out. These are new playgrounds. Several years ago, we had a conversation, and our board did pass a budget to be able to replace playgrounds or give an amount to each school in a rotation. It'll be 2 schools every year, and the entire district was put on that rotation. This past year was Bienvenue and Winstead. These are a few other projects. Edwards Elementary got an LED light off of their street, their main street there. The school did pay for that, purchased it out of some Title I funds, but our maintenance department was able to install and get that up and running to save us a lot with that expense. Nash Central Middle, the roofing, which we've talked about a couple of times, and we were able to do VCT flooring at Nash Central High School. My closing slide is in reference to buildings. So Swift Creek is still vacant at this time and is still listed for sale. We have not had a bid at this time. It has been dropped to $200,000. The plan is for WL Green to go up by July the 1st. I would like to be taking this to the county commissioners. Once we have taken it to our board, which will be May 28th, we will then bring it to the county commissioners to discuss. Cedar Grove, Brownsville, and the Rocky Mount High School baseball stadium have all been sold at this time. And I'll take any questions that you might have for me. Yes, sir.
I was just thinking, as you explained that your playgrounds, how safe are they? We have a lot of people with mental problems driving around with pistols and just seeing people and shooting at them. And I was thinking about that Inglewood School right there on Sunset Avenue. And the playground runs all the way up to the street. And to me, I'm a little concerned about safety.
I can see your concern. We do put safety at the forefront, but we do have to put it on our property. And so to meet all the guidelines and expectations, we are limited on where we could put them in the locations at the schools themselves.
People get in the habit of just random shooting now, even in the community, in the homes, and everywhere. So I look at that particular playground as a target for somebody that's got mental problems and have handguns or even automatic weapons. We just ride by and there's children playing out there close to me and just dum dum dum.
Yes, sir.
I think it's something you ought to take a look at.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Any other questions? I'll turn it over to Ms. Nancy Smith with academics.
All right, thanks.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I am Melissa Dancy Smith, the Assistant Superintendent of Academic Services and Accountability, and I too am extremely proud of the work we're doing to move the needle in Nash County Public Schools in regards to student academic outcomes. I cannot do this without the team that supports me as well. So in the back of the room, if you would wave your hands. Monique Hargrove Jones is the Executive Director of Elementary School. Jeff White is the second Executive Director of Secondary Schools. And Timothy Mudd is the Executive Director of Accountability, Research, and Innovation. I want to get it right. During the 24-25 school year, approximately 74% of our schools met or exceeded growth. This is no small feat. This means that these schools either scored A's, B's, or C's, and that has not happened since the inception of the accountability model that was enacted in 2014-2015. If you are keeping up with our state superintendent, you all know that he has charged school districts in making Nash County, in making North Carolina the best in the nation when it comes to academic performance. And North Carolina is moving the needle. So 54% of graduates passed college-level courses or exams. 87.7% of our four-year graduation cohort rate was the highest in history. Over 90,000 students took AP exams or other college-level courses and did well in that. And 72.1% passed AP exams that earned them some college credit, and almost approximately 383,000 students earned college credentials. So in NCPS, how did we stack up? Our graduation rate has improved. Last year, about 86% of our students graduated with that cohort. That is an increase since COVID. 54.4% of our students earned qualifying scores with college credits. About 91% of all seniors who take AP courses, career and college promise courses at the community college actually pass those classes, so they enter college with some college credits. And what is most impressive is the number of students who are graduating from high school and entering the workforce with industry-recognized credentials. That's we had about 5,000 students to do that. In 22-23, we had 4,000, so that's an increase of about 1,000 students. We also moved the needle in serving as ambassadors for the school district. In January, Nash County Public Schools was fortunate enough to be invited to present at the State Board of Education meeting. And in that meeting, we were asked to talk about the gains that we had made specifically in early literacy. Each year, we are charged to submit what is called a literacy intervention plan. I am proud to say that when the elementary team submitted this plan, it was approved with no recommendations. And that was, we had very few school districts in the state to submit that plan and not have any recommendations of improvement. So when we were invited, we pride ourselves on the work the academic team does to build instructional capacity in our principals. Because at the end of the day, they're in the building making it happen every day. So we've changed what our professional learning communities with our principals look like. So if you look at this cycle on the right, it is just that. It's cyclical. So it starts first with our monthly roundtable. That is done with our elementary principals as well as our secondary principals. What we've done differently over the years is we've added their instructional leadership teams with them. That gives principals who have so much work to do an opportunity to shift that cognitive load, and they can spend time right there on the spot planning with their teachers who are in advanced teaching roles and also our MTSS facilitators. We don't stop there. each month, sometimes twice a month, we visit the same school. We engage in professional learning walks. And we call them learning walks and not walkthroughs because it's professional development for my department as well. Because when we're in the buildings, we see what the needs are and we respond to them at the next roundtable. But before we do that, we have data and principal debriefs. So during that time, we inform principals of things that need to change, sharing growth-producing specific feedback, but it's actionable. If you do this based on evidence, this will happen. The next month, we go back to the roundtable, and anything that we've seen in buildings, that is the way we build out our agendas for our principals. So we shared that with DPI. We also shared, because our instructional literacy plan is tight, that's a non-negotiable for us. We don't move away from it. We've invested money in, the board knows, millions of dollars in high-quality instructional resources. So the expectation is that they use those resources. So if you look at our data, you will see in every area we're outpacing the state. So right now, we're wearing the crown and we're going to keep it until something changes. So if you look at NCPS, kindergarten, first, second, and third grade, this is early literacy data. It is not the end of grade assessment. They assess two different things. One is reading readiness. The other is, can you read? So that's what the EOG assesses in third, fourth, and fifth grade up to middle school. And then we looked at overall averages because we talk a lot about growth and the progress that our schools are making. So if you look at the second chart, in all grades but first grade, we still outpace the state in early literacy. So it doesn't stop with early literacy. It's the same thing with our third grade EOGs. We know we still have a lot of work to do, but we're making some progress. So if you look at that, we're trending in the right direction. So in some presentations, we share regional data, but for this presentation, we're comparing ourselves to the state. So if you look at where we are, we're closing the gap with the state. Fourth grade reading, same thing. Fifth grade reading, the same thing. So now let's talk about the impact of our advanced teaching roles. This is something that I get extremely passionate and excited about because it is an investment in our teachers who have a proven track record of changing learning outcomes for students. And oftentimes, our best teachers leave the classroom and they go into administration. And they do that because they do make a significant impact in leading schools. So the whole notion that school leadership doesn't matter, it matters. But we want to keep our best teachers closest to the classroom. So in 21-22, I believe, we applied for a grant called the Advanced Teaching Role Compensation Model as a district, and we were awarded that grant for about $1.3 million. And with that grant, we poured everything right back into professional development for our teachers. And a lot of that was around our advanced teaching roles. So in our advanced teaching roles, it gives our teachers, master teachers, with a proven track record, an opportunity to expand their reach. And they do that by working with more students, but they also do that by building capacity in other teachers. So they lead a team of teachers. So if you ask how is it different from literacy coaches or coaches, because we've had them for years, our data shows us that we're getting more impact using this model. They don't touch as many teachers, but they put their hands on students, and they're held accountable for the progress that the teachers as well as the students make. And we incentivize them by paying them a stipend. So if you look at our advanced teaching roles, this specifically looks at the impact that teachers are making on students. That's it. That's what these two charts look at. So when I told you that we actually started this in 20, help me out, team in the back. 21, 22 was the first year of implementation. So if you look at 2023, we're showing this because EVOS is the platform that gives us teacher effectiveness data, and it only goes back 3 years. So we had to pull 22, 23. EVOS data is released every October. So what we wanted to show that since we've implemented advanced teaching roles, look at the impact that teachers are making on students. We had about 15% of our teachers who were not meeting growth, which means they had absolutely no impact on teaching and learning when we looked at student data. Last school year, it was 8.6. That equates to 11 teachers in our district. That's worth celebrating. And guys, this is just looking at 3-5 data. If you pull it for K2, it's just as impressive. If you pull it for CTE, it's definitely impressive. But for the purpose of ATR, we wanted to lift our 3-5 because those are EOGs. But also look at the impact when it comes to student outcomes, because teachers are in those roles for teacher impact and student impact. And I've shown you this before. This is 3.8. The first time we saw 3.5, this is 3.8. So 48% of our students were proficient, and that's our composite. The state is at 56. If you go back to 2021, that's before the ATR roles. Look at where we were then 2022, 23, 24, and now 25. We have ATR roles in all of our elementary schools and all of our middle schools, but 2, and we're hopeful that we will have them in all of our middle schools next year, and 1 high school. This also shows the impact that our ATR roles continue to make on overall school performance. So if you look at, this is from 21-22, the first year of implementation, 56% of our schools met or exceeded growth. Last school year, about 83% of our schools met or exceeded growth. Are there any questions for me?
Did it make any difference, have you noticed any difference in those who got graduate degrees in this area, in that age group, teaching that age group? Did you see any difference as a result of that, or it's just the effort that the teachers are making? They're probably using new techniques in achieving what needs to be achieved with the students?
If I understand your question, I think what we're seeing is teachers with proven, impactful track records are working with more students, which means they're pulling them small group They're going into the classrooms and they're working alongside other teachers. So if you think about professional development, and I shared with you that when we received the 1.3 million, we poured it all back into teachers, professional development, getting our district level people trained so they can support schools as well. So it epitomizes job-embedded professional development. You can go in, you can coach a teacher, you're right there with that teacher, you can go back and monitor. So it lends itself to an effective coaching cycle where you meet with the teacher, you observe the teacher, you work alongside the teacher, and we pride ourselves on giving specific, actionable feedback. I think.
Excuse me. Observation is unannounced. They know when you're going to be observing.
It's a non-threatening observation that is done by a peer. So since it's done by a peer, you really sit down with your peer and you ask your peer, what is it that you're struggling with? I would like to come in to support you. So we've trained these people on something called cognitive coaching, and it helps these folks in these positions to coach adults because we know they are rock stars in the classroom. But just because you do well with students, whether it's elementary, middle, or high school, doesn't mean you can help adult learners. So that was something we had to train them in. So when they go in, they use those skills, they build trust among those folks. My team knows that the expectation is that they do the same thing. We're not evaluators. So when we go in, it's an observation for improvement, but not to evaluate teachers because we don't want to interfere with the principal's role and assistant principals in evaluating teachers. So it's an observation to coach and help teachers get better. And it is announced.
Do you ever, you look at the talent of each teacher, do you ever shift them around?
So what we share when we're designing models is that when you design your model, don't design it with a teacher in mind because it's an opportunity to recruit some of the best teachers that we have in your schools if you need them. And we have evidence of teachers who have left what is a high-performing school to go to a school that was a more at-risk school. And that's the whole purpose of these advanced teaching roles. It gives principals leverage to recruit the best that we have in our district, and quite frankly, we want to recruit from other districts too. But the expectation is the same, and we start by looking at this, which is their EVOS data. And if their EVOS data is not in the positive, which is about 1.5, maybe 0.5 in reading, but it has to be on that positive side, they do not enter the pool that starts at the district level. And we have to make sure that we align our expectations with the state's expectations for these roles as well. Are there any other questions? Thank you. I will turn it over to Dr. Farrow.
Thank you very much.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So I'm going to start with our full-time SROs in our elementary schools, since this is an area that our Nash County Commissioners gave a significant investment in. Currently, there are 12 full-time elementary SROs, 5 with Rocky Mount PD. All 5 of those schools have been staffed. There are 7 with Nash County Sheriff Office. 5 of those 7 positions have been staffed, and the 2 schools that are vacant at this time are Red Oak and Nashville Elementary. Those positions are being filled with off-duty officers, though, during each day. We work with Nash County Sheriff Office to make sure that those positions, that someone has signed up to be in those schools. And in my conversations with Sergeant Bissett, they're fairly certain that they will have those positions staffed for the 26-27 school year. So the total number of SROs in the district, we have 23 full-time SROs for Nash County Public Schools. As I previously stated, there are 12 elementary. Middle schools, we have 4, and with our high schools, there are 7. So if I could talk just a little about SRO funding and those funding sources. There are 3 sources of funding for our SROs. The first being local, a reoccurring $500,000 for elementary SROs that was approved by the Nash County Board of Commissioners for beginning with the 25-26 school year. The second funding source is our state 069. That's at-risk funding, and it's used to cover the difference not paid by the other 2 sources of funding. And also within this 069 budget, the state of North Carolina, DPI, provides about $91,000 per high school SRO. The Center for Safer Schools SRO grant is a grant that we have received over the past, I want to say, 4 years, may have been a little longer. But the 25-26 school year is a sunset year for this particular grant for us, where we have received $484,000 over the past 2 school years each year. This grant comes available again for us to apply for the first part of June. If we are approved for this grant or awarded the grant, it's a 2-year grant cycle. We do not know how much the funding will be. We are hoping that it's around the $484,000 that we received the past 2 years, but we just do not know at this time. So our evolved weapon detection machines, as you all know, we at Nash County Public Schools has made a significant investment in these weapon detection machines. We believe that they add another layer of safety and security to our schools. All of our schools have at least 1 evolved machine at their main entrance. All traditional high schools have a dual lane machine. Northern Nash High School and Southern Nash, they have been given an additional machine in a secondary part of their building, the back part of their building, because they are open campuses, and we were able to do so after the merger. Elementary, middle, TRA, city, and early college, they all have single lane machines, and there are 18 of those at the main entrances of those campuses. So there's 24 total machines in Nash County Public Schools. All of our elementary machines that were purchased for the 25-26 school year, we actually did not lease those. We purchased those, so those are the property of Nash County Public Schools. Our middle and high school machines, when we first brought those machines into our district, we leased those. The reason that we leased those machines is because at the time, EVOL was an emerging technology for weapon detection, and was not made really thinking about public school systems, but really big venue events. But during the course of time, many school systems have invested in those. And so the technology has shifted such that it is in our best effort or our best benefit to purchase the machines instead of leasing them like we did early on with the middle and high schools. And at the end of the 26-27 school year, our middle and high school machines, that lease will be up. And so we will be in the business of purchasing approximately 12 new machines. And if the cost remains about what it was previously, that's somewhere around $1.7 million. As Ms. Miller previously stated, all of our elementary schools have been completed with our safety locks. Our middle schools are the next phase of our plan. The new Southern Nash Middle School will be outfitted with those locks. And so we have 3 middle schools that we need to put locks in, and the approximate cost of that is about $267,000. Are there any questions for me?
Dr. Farrow, are you familiar with the program that some school districts are now using? That's a fairly new, I don't know how old statute, that allows school systems to use special deputies that are no longer active officers to fill school resource positions. And they are primarily going to be retired law enforcement officers that are fairly young because they can retire at a young age, or they're going to be military police. And it's been used some in North Carolina. Closest place I'm familiar with is Roanoke Rapids School District. But there is a significant savings in utilizing that particular program. Are you familiar with that at all?
I am not familiar with that program. I do know that in Edgecombe County schools that they work with their sheriff department, and that the good majority of their SROs are retired SROs, but I'm not familiar of a particular program, but would love to have that information for something just to look.
A link on it that a friend of mine that is an SRO in Halifax County sent me. He's a retired deputy in Halifax County. He's been working as a resource officer under this particular program.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but I'll forward it to you. Just
Thank you.
Maybe a way to save some money.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Good evening. Good evening. All right, they got to come up here and tell you all nice, pretty stuff. All right. So I'm going to run through our proposed revenues for this upcoming year. I know the numbers don't, they don't paint a picture right now, but just for you to know, the state has gone down because we are funded with 224 less students. Local, of course, is less than it was last year. We'll talk about that a little later, but this is an overall picture of what our budget is going to begin with next year, or proposed picture. And it's always good to see how the district is funded as a whole. Of course, state coming in at 71%, and local, I'm very appreciative of you guys, 15%, okay? All right, so that local 15% is made up of our standing county appropriation, our fines and forfeitures, Edgecombe County appropriation, which we've taken down quite a bit because, our legacy students are continuing to move on over to, or graduate. They graduate, right? Yeah. All right, and the fund balance we've taken down this year from the previously 1.5 that we appropriate to 750,000. The anticipated benefit changes for our 26-27 year, our certified staff, using that proposed governor's budget, we anticipate about 11% average across the certified staff, 5% for classified, which they're stating is 2.5% each biennial year, which we're already ending one, so we anticipate the full 5 next year if it's not passed before then. We have gotten numbers for retirement, which it stands to increase about 1%. It's going to 25.76%. And hospitalization should be about $89.25, so about $425 per employee increase in that hospitalization cost. All right. So here are some of the shortfalls that we do anticipate. And when I say anticipate, the state has already given us our plan and allotments for the upcoming year because they have their funding in arrears model that they've started. So we know what we're going to begin with. And of those plan and allotments, it's important to note that our teacher positions are now going to be, we've earned 10 less positions because of the reduction of 224 students that, for our ADM next year. Our school building administration, that is your school principals and assistant principals, we anticipate that to be 74 less earned. That's roughly 6 positions, 6 12-month positions. Our low wealth, that pays for textbooks, salaries of all of our office staff at the schools, all of our technology staff and our data managers, it's gone down 1.1 million. In our at-risk funding, which pays for the portion of the SROs that Dr. Farrell just spoke about, it has gone down 500,000, even though we have just now increased the number of SROs that we have in the schools. Unfortunately, this funding source has gone down 500,000. So in local, our anticipated shortfalls, the continued reduction of Edgecombe legacy students, that was 480 that we had in the budget last year. It has gone down to 100,000 anticipated that we received. So that, eventually will phase out completely and we won't have anything from Edgecombe. The approved increase for the classified retention bonus, if that is to continue, that is an additional 250 that we had to add to what we previously had in the budget to make sure that we could pay the $500 per employee. And the reduction of use of fund balance, because we are trying our hardest to fit ourselves into just the Nash County appropriation. After the demerger, we're still trying to fit within our appropriation. So last year we used 1.5 million in fund balance and we're taking it down gradually. And one of the last shortfalls I do want to point out, so even though our charter schools, they haven't, the cost for them hasn't changed, right? The cost stays pretty steady, but our overall financial picture for the district and that local funding has gone down, right? That 10% reduction after Edgecombe left, it paints a different picture. We still have to incorporate these fixed costs into that budget that's constantly shrinking, along with the increases of the benefits and all these things. So when Dr. Ellis comes up here and talks about the request, even though we don't have these specific shortfalls in as requests, it's just important to know that some of these shortfalls are things that we have to fit into our budget. It's things we have to deal with. Their requests are things that they're trying to do to make the district better, but we still gotta fit these other costs, these regular costs, into our budget. Any questions?
Commissioner.
One question that you may know the answer to, legacy students, do we have one more year left of that? Is that what it is, I think?
It's getting pretty low. I reckon it's one. Yes, sir.
One more year.
132 right now.
Okay. And we've got 1 year left.
And I believe this upcoming year
Right.
will be the last of what we receive.
Okay, that's kind of what my math told me. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Good evening, everyone. So, I stand before you with the request for the 26-27 school year. I will do my best to be detailed and present this in an expeditious manner. My colleagues have stood before you tonight, giving you an update of where we are. I'm going to try to sum this up with what some of our needs are in order to continue to support the great things that are going on in Nash County. The first ask is to request a supplement for classified. This outlines the different positions that we have in our in our classified positions. It also itemizes the total salary of those positions and the cost of a 2% supplement. The benefits are added there as well, and if you look at the last part of the spreadsheet, we're asking for, with the 2% increase, $726,000 annually. The second option to consider as a supplement for the classified employees would be a 4% ask. And again, the spreadsheet outlines the positions that are considered classified. It gives you their salary amount, the cost of the 4% supplement, the benefits that are included, and this ask, if a 4% was awarded, would be $1.4 million. The next ask is for a 1% increase for the certified staff. And on the left side of the slide, it does share the current percentage supplements for our teachers or our instructional staff if they have that degree that is earned. Our supplement current rates begins at 11% and goes to 12.5%. On the right side of the slide, it does outline the supplements amounts of our surrounding districts. As I just shared, we provide supplements based on a degree level. It does vary per county of how they decide to support or structure their supplement amount for their districts. This next slide gives you a breakdown of how many instructional staff that we have in the various degree levels. And the total amount that we're requesting for this ask is $654,000. The next ask is a retention bonus request. And again, we would like to continue to invest in the excellent things that are going on in our district. We are asking for $500,000 to continue to support the bonus request, and that's the retention bonus that we are providing annually. It does help us to retain top talent, ensure stability, and strengthen the reputation of our district. This request is prorated based on the employment status, and employees must be hired no later than October 1st. And retain and remain the duration of the school year. This is paid annually at the end of the school year. The next ask is where Dr. Farrell has already updated you on the current state of the door locks. We do have them in all of our elementary schools, but we need to secure them in 3 of our middle schools. This amount would be approximately $267,000. Mrs. Nancy Smith has already explained how the ATR model works, and it has been valuable and an asset to our school and our district. This grant does sunset this year, and unless the requirements change for the state, we're not eligible to apply for this grant. It is a 5-year grant. So we are asking for $450,000 to continue to model in our non-Title I schools by providing salaries for 6 teacher assistants, which are considered our reach associates, and 2 teachers, which are full-time release. And the last slide just sums up our total requests. A 2 to 4% range for classified supplements, approximately $726,000. 1% teacher supplement, approximately $655,000. Retention bonus, $500,000. Safety locks, $267,000. Advanced teaching roles, $450,000. Our total request this year is $2.5 million. Any questions for me? Thank you.
Mrs. Wallace,
Yes.
I have a question. You've provided us with the data on the supplements for teachers from our surrounding districts. Do you have data on our surrounding districts for the supplements for classified workers?
I do not with me tonight, but I do have that in my office, and I can share that information.
Please send that to me.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mhm. Any other questions for me? Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Davis.
When you sum up your total request, the 4% classified supplement request was, $1.452 million,
Yes, sir.
but you don't have that number included in your request. It doesn't appear like.
I didn't. I included the 2%.
You included the 2%,
Yes, sir.
which is at the
This-
1,088.
The 726.
Okay,
You see it?
I do see it.
I'd be glad to add the 4% and total it for you. I can share that as well.
I've already done the math and see what it is.
Okay.
Of course, another board member may wish to see that. Thank you.
Mhm. Any other questions? Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
So in closing, just thank you for your commitment to our schools at Nash County, and look forward to another great year. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Any other school board members got anything to add at this time? I would like to also thank the Nash County Commissioners for what you do for our students and teachers. At this time, with no other comments, I would adjourn the Nash County Board of Education.
I now call for a motion to adjourn the Nash County Board of Commissioners meeting. Been moved and properly moved by Commissioner Outlaw and seconded by Commissioner Belfield. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. All opposed, motion carried. Meeting adjourned.